Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I am continuing my playthrough of the Aftermath DLC Story 4, Mortal Kombat 11. I've done 2 episodes up to this point, so there's a little bit to cover, but not too much considering this is like chapter 15 out of the story mode. So I don't really think this is probably going to be the first episode you pick up if you were to watch any of them, but just in case it is and you want to go all the way back and see everything that has happened up to this point, I will go ahead and add the link to that playlist in the corner of the screen now. But yeah, key details. In the previous episode, we managed to resurrect Sindel. And by we, I mean Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf, all three of which are trying to retrieve Kronika's crown from the past. That way they can retrieve that for Liu Kang, and Liu Kang then properly reset the timeline so all the damage done by Kronika and just everything that happened in the main story mode can be undone, and a new era can begin under Liu Kang's guidance. The thing is, whenever Liu Kang sent Fujin, Shang Tsung, and Nightwolf back in time to retrieve the crown, which was destroyed in his battle with Kronika, well, that trio got noticed, which means that the villains can then prepare for them to show up and try and get the crown. And by the villains, I mean Cetrion. And while that trio is pretty strong, they realized they would need some help, and that's why they resurrected Sindel, who is agreeing to assist them in retrieving the crown. So that is where we are going to be picking things up. We are going to Shang Tsung's island, because that is where Kronika's crown is, and we will see how the retrieval mission goes.
They couldn't go on. I am touched by their devotion.
I question their judgment.
Have neither of you any compassion?
Not for fools who follow you.
Are we not following him now? At least we do not follow that fool, Raiden. Then we would surely die.
I mean, looking at Raiden's track record, I have to agree with Sindel on this one.
You may run like the wind, Kabal, but I command it. You should have devised a better plan.
There's more to come.
Return to the void. Not even she can help you.
Too slow. I expected better, Fujin. Fight!
So I won't get into how many times I lost or how many rounds I lost while playing through this Aftermath DLC story, because I don't really want to give anything away just yet, but overall the difficulty for this DLC was pretty easy. I had it on medium difficulty the entire time, and honestly it probably could have been bumped up a little bit and it might have been a little bit more beneficial because there weren't very many fights that I struggled with. Now this one here against Kabal, for some reason I was having a lot of trouble with. It ends up being a lot closer at times than than I would have expected, especially when compared to the other fights I've done up to this point. I don't really know what exactly was going on with this fight specifically, but yeah, I was just not on it whatsoever. I suppose you could chalk that up to switching characters to Fujin after, completing the previous chapter, but yeah, I was just off. And that makes this one of those rare moments when I'm actually struggling against the computer, and yeah, maybe that makes it more interesting, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but it certainly had me a little bit nervous when I was playing through it in real time. On a positive note though, that meant that I did have the opportunity to do Fujin's X-ray attack, his fatal blow, and that is not something I get to do very often with characters in this game because normally my health is just not that low. In fact, that is one mechanic about Mortal Kombat 11 I kind of like more than in previous games, how you can activate that super attack once you're below 30% health. In previous games, you could only do it if you use 3 bars of meter, which normally speaking, you're just going to want to use that meter on your special attacks to extend combos because it's a lot more efficient and you're getting more damage overall if you manage to capitalize on the right moments throughout the entire fight. Now, in my previous playthroughs, I didn't really do that. I would just go for the X-ray attacks whenever I had 3 bars because I wanted it to look as cool or as interesting as I could when I was playing through it. Here, I don't have to choose. I can burn meter on cool attacks and extend combos, and I can also do the X-ray attacks, the fatal blow whenever I'm below 30% health. So I kind of get the best of both worlds, which is a great compliment to be giving Mortal Kombat 11 on this second playthrough because I did not feel that way initially, but second time around, I'm feeling a lot better about it.
Now do I meet your expectations?
Cetrion must be on her way.
Sindel and I will occupy her. You two get the crown.
I must ask, sorcerer. How long before you betray us?
I find your lack of faith amusing.
When it happens, we will be ready.
Do me a favor, Fujin, and take one giant step back. You too, sorcerer. Makes sense we'd meet again down here. When you caged me up, beat me within an inch of my life. The hell if I ain't gonna return the favor.
Always so generous.
Beyond amusing, but insufficient.
You lost to me at your temple, Fujin. Now Kronika has made me even stronger.
You did not win that fight. You ran away.
Fight!
Oh, I love that reference. Going into this fight, I was even thinking to myself, I'm gonna have to make some talking points about Fujin versus Bihan because that's something that technically has happened back in Mortal Kombat mythology Sub-Zero. Now that's a pretty old reference for a game that was ridiculously difficult, and I'm imagining not a whole lot of people actually played all the way through or even partially through, considering it really wasn't that good of a game. But yeah, in that game, Fujin fought Sub-Zero, Bihan Sub-Zero, back when he was still Sub-Zero and not Noob Saibot, so Yeah, I was preparing to just talk all about that in this fight, and of course, the game saves me the trouble and actually goes ahead and references the fact that that did happen. So yeah, that's kind of a fun reference. And also answers one of my questions about how much of that was canon in this new timeline, so good stuff. And for anyone who didn't play through Mortal Kombat Mythologies, that's this old PS1 game back in the day where the Bihan Sub-Zero was going around to all of the different elemental temples, and it ultimately is how Quan Chi ends up getting Shinnok's amulets and, shenanigans end up happening. It was how they set the events up for Mortal Kombat 4 with Shinnok, and I assume it's still the case for this new timeline, just a little bit different with how Quan Chi got Shinnok's amulet, and then we got the events of Mortal Kombat 10. So yeah, it's kind of cool knowing that that really obscure game and all the things that happen in it are still technically kind of canon. And now I need the answers to some questions that nobody but myself is asking, and that is whether or not the Mortal Kombat Special Forces spinoff is also canon in this universe. And that's the one where we got a kind of sort of first-person, third-person shooter with Jax, and he was going after the Black Dragon.
You should have fled this fight, too. Kronika's promises cannot be trusted, Jackson. Biha, Kano, Shao Kahn. Look at the scoundrels she employs.
That's a card you can't play, Fujin. Not when you're buddied up with Shang Tsung. Fight!
And speak of the devil himself, we are now fighting Jackson Briggs. And again, he was the main character in the Mortal Kombat spinoff, Mortal Kombat Special Forces. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but yeah, it was like a pseudo kind of sort of first-person, third-person shooter. And yeah, it wasn't amazing. We had Jax going after the Black Dragon clan, or gang, excuse me. And he was going after people like Kano, Jarek, Tremor, and a few other Black Dragon members who are just not nearly as popular or noteworthy whatsoever. But yeah, we got Tremor, Jarek, and Kano in that game. Now, it was way less significant to the overall lore of Mortal Kombat. Like, Mortal Kombat Mythologies, as bad as it was, it at least had some pretty significant information among the origins for Quan Chi and Shinnok in the Mortal Kombat games. But yeah, I can't really say anything like that for the Mortal Kombat Special Forces spinoff. But hey, we did get Tremor out of it, and he was DLC for Mortal Kombat 10, and he is a cameo fighter in Mortal Kombat 1, so, I mean, that's definitely not nothing. So yeah, I guess this is going to be just the Mortal Kombat spin-off references episode, because I have not really thought about those games in a very, very long time. And now to see if this chapter offers any other random spin-off game references.
Kronika will not heal your wounds, Jackson.
Damn it, Fujin. You know what I've suffered. Kronika's my one chance to prevent all that. Not just for me, but for Jackie, for Vera. Shit. You're a god. Ain't no way you get how this feels.
You know the only time Raiden and I ever fought? When I left the Sky Temple to live among humans. Do not become attached to them, Fujin. Sentiment will impede the execution of your duty. But warriors like you and I, we are strengthened by sentiment. We do not fight to kill enemies. We fight to protect our loved ones. That is why it cuts so deeply when we fail.
Well, I'll be. Maybe you do get it.
Kronika knows your pain. She manipulates you with it. Jacqueline is on her way here. Kronika expects you to fight her. Worse even, break her heart. Is that someone who cares one whit about you or your family?
power to defeat me.
I am not finished yet.
Abide Kronika's will.
Tum kasila, o sisialo, o makeayo.
Can you fight?
I'll do what I can.
Kronika offered the future, but instead you will have none. Blame only yourselves for this fate.
Fight.
So all this voiceover stuff that I'm doing right now is all after I've already played through the entire Aftermath story mode, but whenever this was happening in real time, this game just sprung this crap on me out of nowhere. Whenever I entered the chapter, it said, chapter, 15? And it was Fujin's chapter. I wasn't expecting to suddenly be picking up Sindel. I had not practiced with Sindel whatsoever, even though I knew she was going to be part of this DLC at some point. And so you'll see me kind of fumbling through this fight a little bit with her, just trying to figure out, any sort of really good combos or meter burn special attacks. Can't be doing this to me, game. I was totally unprepared for it. But yeah, moving away from that, Nightwolf tried to do his self-sacrifice move that he used to beat Sindel back in Mortal Kombat 9, only this time he was trying to do it on Cetrion. Nightwolf, we really need to have a talk, man. You're a little too eager to sacrifice yourself in these games. I don't know why, but I'm suddenly thinking of Gray from the anime Fairy Tail, because he does the same crap quite a bit. Way too much self-sacrifice attempting. But hey, at least he was prevented from completing that action, so he gets to stick around for the entire game this time around, or at least more of the game this time around. I cannot get too optimistic just yet, since we do have a few chapters to go with this DLC story.
It is your fate that should concern you, Cetrion.
Well, alright, hell yeah to Shang Tsung. It's awesome to see that animalities apparently came back in this game.
Well, Shang Tsung, your strategy proved sound after all.
Of course it did.
Hands over your head, Shang Tsung.
You too, Sindel. That hair so much as twitches.
Ease up, baby girl.
Dad? How did you get here?
We're all on the same side against Kronika.
Yes. And now we must bring this to Raiden.
Is that a crown?
Kronika's crown. Without it, she lacks the power to restart history.
About time we had some good news.
Now that we have this, we're in uncharted territory. We've changed this timeline for good.
Correct. No one can predict what happens next. Not even me.
I must return to Outworld to aid Katana Khan.
Thank you for aiding us. We will rendezvous at the Sea of Blood in 6 hours.
Until our next battle. sorcerer.
I'll go with the Briggs family to brief the special forces.
May the Great Spirit protect you.
May she protect you, Fujin, when Raiden lays eyes on you with Shang Tsung.
Without the crown, there can be no new era. This failure rests on my shoulders. No. I underestimated Shang Tsung's ingenuity. To escape the void. To return from the future. I will face him again, Mother. This time, I will succeed. I must go. With Shang Tsung in possession of the crown, he's become far too dangerous. And I doubt his new allies realize quite how dangerous he is.
Your Shaolin masters, they're ready.
They will fight until the last man.
That is likely what it will take.
There will not be a fight if Charon does not help us. Is there any word from Grandmaster Hasashi?
No. If we do not hear soon, I will return to the Netherrealm.
Wrong, Scorpion. This cannot be good.
Get Raiden.
The fire gardens. Rebuilt. The Shirai Ryu are indeed restored.
Why are you here, Scorpion? Where is Grandmaster Hasashi?
He is dead.
And now you have come to finish us.
I understand your mistrust, but I am here to assist you.
I find that impossible to believe. What is he doing here?
We are not together.
If you are here to help, prove it. Join me against the sorcerer.
I shall.
Fujin? Raiden thought you lost when the timeline was broken, but you stand with Shang Tsung.
We have urgent news for Raiden. Please, let us pass.
This may be the sorcerer's trick.
The fire gardens will not be defiled by his presence.
Why you have joined Shang Tsung is beyond me, Fujin. What has he done to corrupt your mind?
Fight.
Well, I was joking around how this chapter seems to be a bunch of references to spin-off games so far, and I mean, this fight could potentially be a reference to another spin-off game, just not one that was ever completed or released or made available in any way whatsoever. So back in the day, we had another spin-off game called Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, and that's a co-op game where you could play as Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and you're kind of doing a beat-em-up style fighting game where you're going through the events of Mortal Kombat 2, or at least a Mortal Kombat 2 reimagining. And, you know, it's actually a pretty fun little game. And I believe that there was some sort of a plan in place at one point in time to do basically the exact same style of game as Shaolin Monks, but do it with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And I think that was going to be Fire and Ice, Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice, something like that. So in this one episode, this one chapter with Fujin, we've had references to Mortal Kombat mythologies. I started referencing Mortal Kombat Special Forces, and now I'm referencing the unmade Fire and Ice game. So yeah, I was joking around earlier, but this has been pretty consistent so far. A bunch of references to spin-off games.
Perhaps listen before you judge.
Thank you, Fujin.
The storm is not yet past.
Shang Tsung!
We must speak with you, brother.
We, Fujin? Since when are you friends with this filth?
I'm here to save you, Raiden.
We hail from your tragic future. In it, Liu Kang defeated Kronika, but their battle destroyed her crown. Without this, a broken timeline couldn't be repaired.
Our only hope was to return here, steal the crown, and make use of its power.
Now we can change the outcome of the fight against Kronika. We can defeat her and fix time.
I had never thought you gullible, brother. Shang Tsung's schemes serve only to benefit him. How could you fall for such lies?
Be rational, Raiden.
Spread your falsehoods elsewhere, sorcerer. You will not deceive us.
Lord Raiden, we should listen. He may be telling the truth.
There is only one way to find out. Now, Shang Tsung, the truth!
Raiden, stop this!
Step aside, Liu Kang.
Put down the amulet. Its darkness is taking hold of you.
You also betray me.
This is not the way. Shang Tsung is not the enemy this time.
The realms hang in the balance, and you form this unholy alliance? Enough of this madness. If you both must die, so be it.
My brother is my problem. I will signal if I need help. Shinnok's amulet inflames your anger and clouds your judgments. Have faith in me.
Fight.
All right, and with Raiden being the final fight of the chapter, all of my references to spin-off games are coming to an end. It was a fun ride while we were on it. Now, here's the thing, and I was thinking about this during this fight, and it's kind of an odd thought, but I felt like sharing it. Prior to this game, Fujin and Raiden were only in the same game 2 other times. And both of those other times were the only other 2 appearances that Fujin has had as a playable character in any of the Mortal Kombat games. He was introduced as a playable character back in Mortal Kombat 4, and then wouldn't show up again until Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which was the game that had every single character up to that point in it. Fujin is pretty much absent as a playable character in every other game, except for Mortal Kombat 10, where he was in the background a little bit, and now he's playable here in Mortal Kombat 11. I point that out because, it's a pretty long franchise, and he's only been in 3 games out of the entire franchise, and this is the first time that there's ever really been any conflict between Raiden and Fujin. It has just never really come up before, and their relationship has always been one of friendship. These 2 have always been allies throughout the entire franchise, and it's really cool to see them actually have some sort of a argument or conflict against each other for a change. It is definitely a big step away from Raiden choosing him as the new protector of Earthrealm like he did back in the day.
Now listen, brother. We're running out of time.
I am a fool. I have allowed myself to become a slave to anger. I will not allow my temper to fracture our resolve further.
Surely you jest, Lord Fujin. Not at all, Liu Kang. Raiden's power makes you a fire god.
Of course it does.
Said everyone tired of Liu Kang being the hero.
Unfortunately, I cannot transfer my power to Liu Kang yet. First, I must free his revenant from Quan Chi's curse.
We will face the revenants soon enough.
What else can you tell us about the final battle? We must use every advantage.
Shang Tsung, I trust you are enjoying your travels.
You have already been defeated once, Kronika.
Of course, Fujin. How else could you have escaped the void?
If you know this, accept the inevitable. Surrender.
But clearly my loss was not your victory, Raiden. If your future savior had gained full control of my hourglass, we would not be here. This timeline would no longer exist.
I see no harm in confirming your suspicion.
Even if you defeat me, what then? Who claims the hourglass? Surely you realize that Shang Tsung will break your alliance.
We are prepared, Kronika.
Are you? Have you wondered why Shang Tsung knows so much about my crown?
Because he did your bidding, gathering souls to fuel it.
Shang Tsung is far too modest. The crown is his design. No one, save me, knows more about its power.
Had I told you, we would still be marooned at the beginning of time, bickering among ourselves.
You must decide, Raiden. Who do you wish to keep time for all of creation? Me or Shang Tsung?
Neither, Kronika. You will be beaten. And if Shang Tsung betrays us, we will finish him.
You are a fool, Raiden. Do not condemn the realms to oblivion.
The crown.
It is a mistake challenging a Titan. Now I end your existence.
You are vulnerable, Kronika.
Brother, are you all right?
Yes. But... the crown...
Truly, my finest work. I will instruct you in its ways.
What just happened?
Kronika came here to retrieve the crown. We forced her to retreat.
We must strike while she is weakened. Let us join the armies, massing at the Sea of Blood. Together we will storm Kronika's Isle and take command of the Hourglass.
And all right, we are going to wrap things up right there for this episode. So, what has happened and what do I think about it? Well, this chapter we focused almost entirely from the perspective of Fujin, with one exception, and that exception was one fight as Sindel. So, what was the group doing in this episode? They were going to Shang Tsung's island to recover Kronika's crown, which was being fueled with a bunch of souls from Shang Tsung's Well of Souls. And Kronika wants to use that in order to reshape time, but our guys want to go ahead and steal that so Liu Kang can use it instead and reshape time in his image instead. Now, going into that territory to get the crown did not come without some opposition, most of which was taken care of by Mr. Fujin, the air god, or wind god, some sort of oxygen god. And in previous episodes, the group went to extreme lengths to try and revive Sindel so that they could use her against Cetrion, the Elder God. And the reason for that being that Sindel has a track record of killing pretty much everybody that she goes up against, to include most of the heroes back in Mortal Kombat 9. So having someone with that fatal of experience, probably not a bad thing to have them around to fight against an Elder God. And yeah, Sindel stepped up to the occasion and actually managed to kick the crap out of Cetrion, and the finishing touches against that Elder God came when everyone was together in order to fight her one against many. So yeah, our people got the crown, and they managed to get it to Raiden, who had a little bit of a rage-induced episode, but came to his senses and eventually agreed to team up with Fujin and Shang Tsung with the crown to do the right thing and try to get that in Liu Kang's hands in the future in order to try and reshape time. Kronika showed up just a little bit to talk some shit, but ultimately got ran off by the heroes that we have, and, well, Shang Tsung, so not really a hero, but, the people that are currently fighting for the right side of things. And with that out of the way, the episode comes to an end. The next episode's going to be focusing on Sindel's chapter, so stick around to see what exactly goes on there as she is in Outworld helping out Katana. But yeah, until then, this has been Thor's Entertainment. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, be sure to check out some of the other stuff on the Thor's Entertainment channel to include other story mode related episodes and also some online gameplay from Mortal Kombat 1. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Take care, and I will see you next time.